Hey everyone, how are we doing? I got some lunch. Woo! Big lunch right there. Oh, I hear myself. It's like, where am I talking from? Where am I talking? I'm over there. I'm everywhere. Let's get Mubot rebooted. Rebooting Mubot. Rebooting. Mubot's rebooted. Ooh. Oh, just get more sleep. Get more sleep. Gotta like stretch. Gotta wake up. Eat all the protein bars. I don't know. I have some fun over here. Have some fun. Wait for someone to come in, say hey, get the notes up for the video, make Mubot smaller on the screen right here. Smaller Mubot. Noises in the background. Okay, get the data analytics up. Hey, Emily, good to see you there. Submit your data analytics 6. Yes, I told you to submit, right? Let me go do that. You're welcome. Good job, Emily. Thank you for being here, swinging by. A little chill music in the background. Good job. Data Analytics 6. There's a problem loading students. What? We got Data Analytics 6 pulling up right here. Sometimes we hide the grades, and I hate that. We do like hide grades. I'm going to post all the grades. Anyone else in the chat right now? I'll throw you some Mubot points. We're going to get started here in a moment. Sometimes the graders don't unhide grades, and that drives me crazy. Because then, like, it's all right. It happens. But then I'm like, students are like, we don't have our grades. I'm like, oh, they're all graded. And I'm like, oh, they didn't post the grades. It's all right. There's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. All right, here we go. We got that. We're going to go back here on the main screen. Hopefully grades are posted. You're welcome. Let's go to the main screen. Okay, we're going to put the notes in. We got to put the notes in this video so people can tell where we're working on it. So 413, Stat 201, Data Analytics 6, Executive Summary, or Future Research Summary. So with this one right here, this is one of the harder ones to help you out with because this is all unique to you. Please do not send anyone your work. Do not share anything with anybody. Do not tell anyone how to write this. Do not sit next to them and say like, here's what to write. Simply write da 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 da. If you do that, you're gonna get in big trouble. We highly check these ones for cheating, and sometimes just don't. You can't sit next to someone and work with them. You can't send someone your work. If someone says I'm stuck and what should I write, you say, well, what do you think? You don't tell them what to write. And then a lot of times we hear from people, I was just trying to help a friend, or my friend was stuck, and I just showed them my work. I let them look at it. They took pictures on their phone. They didn't copy it. They took pictures. Please, whatever you do, especially with a project with this is where we really start to catch a lot of cheating, because you're writing more. And the more you write and the more it matches, the more problems there are. So whatever you do, don't look at someone's old work from years past. Only use what you have right here. Okay, so here's the full instructions. Rather long instructions. But if you go to the rubric, you can clearly see how the points are laid out. So preview rubric. Here it is. The first thing you're going to do right here is give who are your information. So that's easy points. That is just freebie points. So I got the wrong video details up. Here we go. Good one. So this is just freebie points. You need to put this at the top of your document. You go to your document and you need to fill it out. Make sure to fill this out. You're good to go. 1 point down. So with this, now let's go into the introduction of the report. Put a note right here. Stat 201, Data Analytics 6, Acing the introduction. So before you write this report, you need to pull up the report it's based on. You are creating an executive summary and a future research. And the executive summary is the start of the report. So it's going to go over everything. And let's go right here. I think this is where it's found. Here it is right here, the Word document and the body file right there. Let's go in. Downloading it. There's the prompt, all this good stuff. We don't necessarily need that. Let's go back here. Here we go. This is what we want. So this is the report. First off, we notice who the report is for. Volunteer medical community. Very clear. Now, I'm not going to read the whole report right here, but you should go through it and see what they're analyzing. First off, you see patients who are at risk of hypertension. You have the percents. You have other variables right here. Lots of other things right here. The percent of people with hypertension is given. We can see the percent without hypertension. All these things. Next, you go down and see side-by-side box plots. You can see the cholesterol levels and any differences. Some numbers are quoted with outliers and things like that. You can also see the 5-number summary up here showing you the median, so we can compare those, things like that. Next, we go down to a mosaic plot comparing people's gender and their risk of hypertension. You can see things about which gender maybe has a lightly greater risk, and you can quote some numbers, which are given down here. There's a lot in there. Next, you get to the correlations between each variables. So you can see the correlation between things like glucose level is negatively correlated with things like systolic blood pressure and diastolic. Systolic is when your heart beats. Think of your heart like a system. Like when your heart beats, that's the pressure in your veins. Diastolic, I was thinking about like your heart's not beating, you're dying. So that's diastolic. It's spelled with an A though. So diastolic pressure is the non-heartbeat moments when your heart is at rest. So systolic is the pump, which creates the pressure through the veins. And that's why, just think about a hose. If you have a hose, you don't want to expand the hose so much that it has so much pressure that the hose breaks and causes problems. Also, your heart working efficiently. I don't know why this became a biology class or anatomy class right now, but for your heart to work efficiently, it needs to be able to pump blood easily throughout your body, and it needs to not be pumping too hard. And so, yeah, you want good diastolic, systolic, like 110 over 80, 120 over 80. 120 over 80 is classic, but I think they say lower is better. You don't want too low, but yeah. You can see the amount of cigarettes people have. All these variables are here. Their cholesterol level. Cholesterol, clogs the heart, clogs the blood, clogs your veins. I think it does. Heart rate, how fast your heart's going. Glucose is your sugar. BMI, body mass index, is the kind of it's like how, it's an interesting metric. It's like how big is your mass? Of course, sometimes with people like bodybuilders, BMIs are kind of off. It's a decent metric, but it can be a little iffy because it doesn't really take into account things like fitness. Of course, generally, even a big BMI as a bodybuilder can be problematic because you get really big, even then, that can cause a lot of problems. So it's a decent metric. There's a lot of metrics we can use to analyze people. But you do you. I support everyone in their decisions. So here is a bunch of analysis. Here's a scatter plot, a very flat line, a scatter plot. Here's the regression of the scatter plot, the regression equation, along with the significance of the slope, which, slope's not going to run. Analysis, the R squared, all this stuff right here in the full report. So read through this more than I just did right here, but that's the first thing you should do. I just kind of skimmed it right there and saw some things of interest, because what is an executive summary? So acing the executive summary. The executive summary is if someone takes this full report and condenses it down to maybe a third to a half of a page. So you need to take this full report here and condense it, because the point of an executive summary is somebody just reads the executive summary. They could take that whole other part of the report and just toss it out. Just gone. People read the executive summary to understand the full report, not just highlights of it. You're going to find out whatever is most important in this report and report it to them. And the first thing you need to do in an executive summary is clearly state who the company is, what they're doing, what they're analyzing, the point of all this. This can be done in like 2 to 3 sentences, like who is this company, what are they doing, what are we, you can talk about it like this report is, I don't want to say too much, everyone copies exactly what I say when I say things. Everyone's like, this report, and they're like, Brian said that in the video, don't copy what I say. Sit down and Just take it in. Just take it in. Think about what we need to write. So you see right here, the why. The company is identified and the goal for the research is stated. So as I said, who is the company? What are they doing? What are they analyzing? What is the point of this? Like, tell someone about the report and what they're doing, who they are, what we're analyzing. That's a point right there that we just got. So we need to do that immediately at the start of it. Next, we need to go into some actual details. Key findings with numeric backing. We've been bolding this in the rubric for a while. We've been underlining it, I know. If you go down here, key findings, take a look. The key findings are given with numeric backing. Now, what's a numeric backing? If I say to you, people do better on Stat 2-1 exam if they study, that has no numeric backing. If I say to you, people who study generally score around 15 points higher, that's the numeric backing. Because the numeric backing gives some more context, which all data needs, to help us understand how big or small differences are. So you see tons of numeric backing throughout the report. Just going into this report, you just see numeric backing all throughout. Now, you don't just want to copy sentences from the report. You want to take it in. You want to think about, is this regression significant? And what would tell us and why? And then what did the regression seek to find? Is this like our normal data analytics, or is this it's basically, you turn in about a page worth of writing. So you're basically just writing everything down. You are creating the executive summary. So when you're doing this, you're going to start, once again, you need to make sure that you put this at the top. This is the points. So you have to have this at the top. And then you go in and you clearly start by, you have to read the report first. And then you clearly state, who is this company? Like you can say like, this, I don't want to say too much because everyone copies it. You just tell someone about the company and the report they're doing and what this is all about and who are we and what are we doing. And if you look at the rubric, it says you clearly state who the company is and what they are and what they're doing. Right, you write two, three sentences and like very clearly, who are we? What are we doing? What are we seeking to find? And then the key finding with numeric backing. This is usually where students lose points because students usually don't give numeric backing or they don't give enough key findings. They just say like, they found a p-value of this for a regression. What's that even mean? Think about if you're in a business, someone says, I found a p-value of this on the regression. What was the finding? What does that mean? I don't want to say any, like, a finding for me on a fake report right here is, we found from the students who said they studied and the students who said they didn't study that there was a difference of 15 points on the test. That's a key finding with numeric backing. Here's another fake key finding with numeric backing. Our analysis of correlation showed a high correlation between attending class and also score on the test. The correlation was found to be a value of 0.348. Don't copy exactly what I say. Don't say we found. Just think about how to say it. When analyzing these two variables, we found a correlation of blah 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 blah. A correlation analysis was done, and there's infinite ways to say these things. So please don't copy what I say. Remember, you're meant to sit down and just take this in and think, all I'm doing is just telling someone the key things from the report. Does that make sense, Alyssa, right there? Like you're just trying to tell someone the key things from the report. Don't copy what Brian says. Let's write this up here at the top. Don't copy Brian word for word. You're welcome. You're just taking it in and telling someone the whole point of this report. So don't copy what Brian says. Don't copy what Brian says. Because one person going to say, I just used Brian's video. That's why I'm not writing anything either, because if I write something, everyone will write down exactly that. I appreciate 5,000 points because everyone's like, Brian wrote it. Must be right. Probably is. But there's infinite ways to say things. Come up with your own voice for it. There's infinite ways to say it. Like put in your own words. After this class, you won't have me there. I'm sorry. To say everything. So have a way to say it on your own that works for you, that makes sense, that is a key finding. I get, thank you, Alyssa, right there. So this is a major part, and the key findings need to come from here. The key findings. The key findings come from here. You just go through, start researching the key findings. I hate when you go to see a doctor and then they like bill you for $2 a month later. Like, oh yeah, you still owe us $2. I'm like, why couldn't I pay that $2 when I was there in person? Pay the $2. I have to drive out there and pay the $2. Charge me. Keep my card on file. So there's the key findings, 3 points. Like I said, a lot of people lose points right here. Here's the action item. What is an action item? Now, a lot of students just say things like, we're going to make pizzas. That's not a plan. That's just an idea. I like big action items. Like, here's what we're going to do, and here are the steps we are going to do to accomplish it. And don't write exactly that. Because imagine I say, we found this difference between, let me mark this. Let's mark action items. And what are they? Because a lot of people say, what's an action item? It's a good question. Data analytics 6, the action item. So the action item is a very specific thing that we are going to do based on the data. You remember my fake report where I said, we saw that students who study get an average of 15 points higher on the exam. Like that was my numeric backing for it, for the numeric backing section. But now, when we're doing the action item, we are going to be hiring an additional SI leader to encourage students to study more. And part of their job will be to put up marketing all around campus for SI study sessions, along with holding them. Yeah, double space is good. No required word count. Just make sure to be thorough. So notice in my action items, it's very specific and it's related to what I found. I found that students who study more do better by 15 points, numeric backing. And then my action item is related to trying to get students to study with the goal of getting them to have higher grades, because that's what we're doing in my fake report. So when you think about an action item, it's related to what you learned. I learned that students who study do better. And then your action item is an idea based on that to improve whatever you're trying to optimize. So we are going to be hiring additional SI leaders who are also going to focus on the marketing to encourage students to study more and come out to SI sessions. There's infinite action items. This is where usually students get caught cheating in many ways. When two students come up with the identical action items, they're like, both students says we're going to hire additional SI leaders and have them do marketing. And one says like, we will have them do marketing on campus. The other says like, we will have them increase marketing on campus. And then we're like, you match on everything else and you match on this. And it's not good. The way you don't match, I want to repeat this again, don't look at anyone's report. Don't look at former students' reports. Don't send anyone your reports. Don't sit next to someone and do work with them while doing this. Do your own work. Come up with your own ideas. The action items are purely your own imagination. You just come up with ideas. You just think whatever. Just come up with ideas. Whatever you want it to be. I don't know. Just come up with something. So that is the action item right there. Let's look at the next part of the rubric. Okay, we've done the action item. Now we get down to the format. Between 5 to 8 sentences. So if you do 2 sentences for your opening, you're good there. I'd probably use about 4 to 5 sentences for your key findings. Make them long and strong, like big, good sentences, powerful, like big ideas or big summaries. So we got this right there. And then we want, lastly, to have maybe 1 or 2 sentences. So if you think 2, 2, 4, you'll have the 8. Really, and I need to tell Terry, like, 5 sentences, we should never put a sentence limit on it, in my opinion, because you could do 8 sentences and say, I did 8 sentences. But they could be little tiny sentences that just don't tell you much of anything. You could do 5 sentences and have the best sentences in the world and be perfectly fine. It really depends on how you write these sentences. So we're mainly looking at don't make a tiny little executive summary. Don't make a 2-page executive summary. Don't even make a 1 page. Probably looking at about half to a third of a page. And your executive summary, this is the thing people don't get. It's supposed to be so strong because it's the whole report. It needs to carry the weight of the whole report. So you need to make sure you have enough in there that can communicate to everyone, who is this company and what are they doing? What are all their key findings? And then also, what are we going to do about, which is the action item? which means someone could take that report and throw it away. The executive summary is the whole report because it's a summary for the executives who are running around saying, I don't got time. Give me that summary of the report. Okay, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do after that. And that's what we found. Okay, I'm good to go. They don't read the report. The executive summary, once again, I'll repeat, is not an introduction. I think I misspoke earlier. I still need this Red Bull right here, invisible Red Bull. The executive summary is not an introduction to the report. The report might have its own introduction. It does. The executive summary is taking the report and going and making the report into a summary that the executives will read to find out everything. That's your goal right here, is to make an executive summary, basically being a quick communicator, which I'm not. So with this, now we have future research. What is future research? Let's put the note in here. 22, 43, stat 201, data analytics 6, future research. When it comes to the future research is new ideas. Now, they should be connected to the report, as in, like, if I'm talking about helping students study, I'm not going to say, let's, I don't know, build a new Chipotle. Maybe that'll help students study. I don't know. Let's be better baseball players. I need help with that. So notice I need to connect my ideas here. And I don't want to say, trying to think of ideas that I don't want everyone to steal. Like, when you think about it, a lot of times it goes to getting to know your data better, things that you can collect, things that you could analyze in the future, variables you didn't consider, relationships within variables you didn't consider that are not in the report, that are not analyzed. So it should be connected to the report, but the ideas go beyond the report. So when you're doing this right here, you're not just saying, like, you would not say things like, you can say we analyze this in the report, but then you need to say, here's how we could, like, go beyond this and what maybe we could collect or think about or do. How do we go beyond this? It's about things that we could be doing in the future that we could then write reports on. It's future research. It's not an outro. If you treat it like an outro and you say, like, thank you for reading my report, I'll be glad to do more work. We used to get those all the time. Before I started making videos, every future researcher was like, thank you so much for reading my report, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be glad to do more research for you in the future. That's not future research. You're working at the company right now, and the company wants to have you give ideas. What did we miss? Not what are we going to do as in, like, from what we learned, but what could we possibly look into that we haven't? So my idea of doing the SI leaders, like things who, not so much, Adeline, good question, not so much, kind of test as in, like, research. Like, you don't know what you're going to do with the information yet because you don't have it. This is more of, like, does this make sense, Adeline, right there? Like, what could we think about and analyze and come to more analysis on? How does that sound? Does that make sense? It's things that basically, from future research, you'd write another report from it. You don't have the results yet, but if you did more future research, you would write another report from it. The goal of future research is to get another report going. And then that report would have its own executive summary and its own future research. The future research is like the to be continued of your report, where you're saying, like, hey, we didn't look into this and we didn't look into this, and maybe we should start looking into this. And here's some things that, we probably didn't think about. And you're not saying we should have SI leaders. You're saying, what if we were to, like, analyze the SI sessions or something like that and find out that, like, they're awesome. They are awesome. So you're figuring out things to look into for the future. And the format, 4 to 5 sentences. So things to research, not how you do the research. Like the ideas, like the variables themselves, like factors to test, the variables themselves, Adeline, right there. Like, what variables would you collect on? What would you, like, don't just say, like, in the future, I would collect these 3 variables. Talk about them. What do you think they're important? Why do you think they're important? Make an argument. You're trying to get some funding right here. Get some funding with that. Be like, we need to really start looking into these things. So, like, it's what we look into in the future. Like, hey, when you really start thinking about these things, I'd go 5 sentences on it. And here's the thing. It's mainly just, do you understand that you're trying to create future research? If you just say, throughout this report, I learned these things. That's talking about the past. Don't talk about the past really much. If you say, you know, we found this in the report. No, that's the past. We want the future. Future is something that hasn't been done yet. It's undecided. Well, that is the full thing right here. It's basically the rubric, and that's how you'll be graded. Action items. There's the action item of, this is the executive summary. Future research is meant to be placed as a recap. Everything that was done in the report and wrap it up is not meant to be. I was like, what? It's meant as, what if right here. What's next? It's a way to show your value by offering what you believe might be interesting line of research for the next step. It might look very different from the day we did already. This is the key things you need to know right here. That's what you're getting graded on. If you think about what's important in this, you're like, that's a lot to read. It's not that much. That's the key things on what you're getting graded on. Executive summary has, who are the company and what are they doing? Part 2 is going to be the key findings. That's where I'd spend a lot of the bulk of my executive summary. And lastly, the action item right there. And so your report, when you complete it, will probably look something like this. Don't put numbers on these. Don't put numbers. It'll probably, it's just the parts of it that you're graded on. Don't put numbers. It's gonna be a little smaller. Okay. Next, I'm gonna make that a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, sure. That's probably pretty good right there. Once again, there's variation in these. There's no, it must be a certain way, but probably something like that right there. Yeah, don't do bullet points. Paragraph format. Good question, Adeline. Adeline, thank you so much. The top 3 things are all part of the what. Like when you write this all, it's going to look something probably like this on your page. The top 3 things are all part of the what. That's pretty good. That's a pretty big future research. That's about right. So the top is the executive summary. So there'll be a break between that. Does that make sense, Adeline, right there? Like when you turn it in, it's probably going to look something like this. A little smaller, a little bigger. Variation will exist. But you can see the sections. Clearly state who the company is for, what they're analyzing, what's the point of this. Key findings with numeric backing will be in there. The action item will be right there. And he'll take a note what the report looks like when you submit. And it needs to be in, don't do bullet points. Write 2 paragraphs. So exec sum future research. Don't do bullet points. Don't do bullet points. And this is what the report looks like. Do we need to have a separate introduction paragraph? Nope. Executive summary is the full report. Good question. So what would someone be doing? So if someone said, hey, give me the report, and they're an executive, what are you going to give them? Someone says, give me the report, and they're an executive. What are you going to give them? The left or the right version? They're like, hey, I got like 5 minutes. Can you give me the report? What are you going to give them? You give them the left or the right version? Which report are you going to give them? Someone says, you can give them the right. Does that make sense? This is why this exists. So the point of the thing right here is this is the whole, this portion right here. This thing right here, this executive summary is the full report. It's meant to contain who's the company, which is going to be found over here at the start. Then it has the key findings right inside of here. The key findings are this area right here where you do the key findings with numeric backing. That's going to be all the stuff in here. And then the action item is what you decide the company should be doing from all this. Do I know which is most important? Just reading through. I mean, we're flexible. There's a lot of just interesting things. I don't want to say what... We're not going to be like, oh, you didn't find the most important thing. If you're just reading, you're like, that's neat. So if you think something's neat, just Be like, mention it and mention the numeric backing. Don't directly copy from the report, but be like, oh, we found that students who study typically average about 15 points higher on the exam. That was the finding with numeric backing. So you just kind of read through and see what you find, and you just say like, well, that's interesting. And then you come to an action item that is very specific to be like, because of this, we are hiring. See, now everyone's going to write because of this. Don't write because of this. I swear every semester I'll say something like because of this, and everyone will write because of what we found. Exactly. It's personal viewpoint. But if you're just like, I found it interesting that they sampled 2,000 people, I'd be like, well, that's probably part of the who are we and what did we do? We took a survey of this or something. That's not so interesting. I don't think anyone's really ever gotten points taken off for like that's a bad key finding. Like that wasn't interesting. You do pretty well if you just choose like 4-ish in there and create a nice area of like key findings from different. I mean, just go to each analysis and be like, what's the point of this analysis? And then find, no, Adeline, you're doing great. Someone in the future is hearing these questions and being like, if you watch this video, throw a comment and be like, thanks or something right there. Comment on this video and be like, thanks. Because I promise you, people watch these videos and then they're like, that person asked that question that I was thinking. I didn't think of that. Or I was thinking that. And then, or now I'm thinking that. So only the people who hear it get to ask the questions. People in the future, you can always comment. I might answer a comment on the video. So I'll get a comment being like, I'm a student over in Germany or in India or like somewhere like I've all around the world randomly. A student be like, thank you for your video. And that makes my day too. Well, any last questions? There's a working lunch today, and then that's what I have on my schedule. Oh, I gotta go to sleep. I'm gonna take pictures. Esther Rav, what's up, Darius? We did the full thing. We've got it all marked. We got the full thing marked and everything. Brian's taking a picture so he can remember where he's got to go today. Gotta get your head in the game. Got 2 events. 2 events. I'm so tired. There we go. What questions are there? Why do they still bill me? Awesome. Yep. All in the SI session. Yeah, SI is amazing. Shout outs to SI. Really good work. And there we go. Well, let me send this to Jake. Send this over here. Oh, here it is. I gotta make sure I know. You're welcome, Melissa. I'm doing it here. I'll head over to the main screen. I'm doing a presentation tomorrow. And I gotta know where my presentation's at. Oh, man. Brian Stevens presenting. Only in person. Wait, at 3 p.m.? Oh, man. Okay, wait. I gotta change this. Now I can do, actually, how did this, I had this on my schedule at a different time. Oh, man. Okay, let me double check. Oh, man. Yeah, presentation. I should send it out to the class. People want to show up, they can. I'll talk about gamification. We'll probably do some gamification. So, let me mark this because I thought this was at a different time. It's a good thing I looked. Okay. I think I email Mike. It is 3 to... Why did I put it on my schedule wrong? Good thing I got the right date. I don't know how I even did that. Did it get moved a long time ago? That's that. No, we're saying 3. Forever in the back. Like forever ago. Well, that's good. Now I'm more free. Well... Mike. Well, I'm going to head off. I'll send out stuff about the presentation. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.